Welcome to the Journey Up podcast. I'm your host, Tyrus Duncan, and today this is a little bit different. We're on the fly, on the move, and I have a very special guest all the way from Tampa,
Yeah,
Tampa Bay, Florida. I appreciate you being here.
of course, of course.
Of course. Let me guys give you the concept of the podcast, and then we'll hop into the conversation. So the Journey Up is a storytelling podcast that dives deep into personal journeys through life's darkest hours and the resilience it takes to rise again. Each episode features a guest who shares a raw, unfiltered account of one of the lowest points in their life and the trials and tribulations they face. Listeners will hear about the challenges, breakthroughs, and the strength it took to overcome adversity. Jodi, how are you doing today?
Good.
Good.
Yeah.
It's been a while, just setting up, getting it together, but we're here,
Yeah.
and I'm happy to have you.
It happens.
It does. So this is our first time really, talking, having a conversation. Tell me a little bit about yourself.
So my name is Jodi Campbell. I currently live in Tampa, Florida, but was born and raised in Miami. Come from amazing immigrant parents. They're both born in Jamaica. My dad's from Kingston, my mom's from Mandeville. And they moved to South Florida, and then they ended up having my sister and I. They went through a divorce, and my sister and I are just a result of really hardworking parents who did whatever it took to believe in their kids and to make sure we were the best that we could possibly be. And so I'm just very grateful for them. I went to college in DeLand, near Daytona area at Stetson University, and then moved to Tampa right after that. And I worked previously in the project management space, and now I'm full-time fitness. And so my life really revolves around helping people find the strongest and greatest versions of themselves, which I think is one of the coolest things. And I never thought that I would be in a space like this. So to be in this space is really, really cool. I could have never dreamt or even prayed for the space that I'm in right now.
So many questions just from that alone.
Yeah.
Firstly, how has your childhood affected how you are now?
There's a lot of things that have impacted it. It's made me a better human. I think the way that I love people, the way that I treat people and respect them has a lot to do with my parents. My parents, the way that they showed up for us as kids. They went through a really bad divorce when we were younger, and just really experienced a lot of things that, you wouldn't want to experience, and having to go back and forth between our parents' houses and any child who comes from a divorce.
Divorce is something. I was 14, I think, when my parents got a divorce.
Yeah.
That's a traumatic experience, and it shaped how I am and who I am today.
Yeah.
Specifically to your point of how you love people and how you treat people, because you know what it's like to essentially have something and then lose it but still have it. It's very, very strange, and I still be trying to figure out how to put it into words, the relationship or the idea of it all. Because it's hard. It's a lot.
It is, and I think it's a matter of what you do with the things that are going on in your life. And I hear people say it all the time where it's well, I had this experience in life, and so this is what it's turned me into because of this. But I think there's a flip side to it, where you can take the experience, the thing that's happened, and allow it to work for your good. And the Bible says, God takes all things that happen and works out for your good. And it's something that we forget a lot of times, that yes, the story happened, the situation happened, the day happened, but at the end of the day, there's a new day that's on the horizon. So yeah.
So essentially what you're saying is you learn to let your trauma turn into something good
1,000%.
instead of just letting it be something bad.
Yeah, and I mean, it's so easy to take the situations that have happened and make it out to be something that's oh my gosh, woe is me. Or you can take it and say, okay, well, buckle up, buttercup, we're moving,
Because life don't stop.
No.
It does not stop for nobody. No matter what the trauma is, they're still expecting the bills to be paid when they're due. And I think often, as we go through different traumatic events, we forget about reality. Yeah. It's everybody else's world is still moving while it feels like your individual world stops. And that just shows, one, how close we are, but also how disconnected we are. I remember just going through a lot of different losses, and for me, my world feel like it stopped, but everybody else is just moving around as normal. And someone's like, "Are you okay?" And I'm like, "Not really," but you're able to notice that, and that prompted in me to think and to treat people as if they're going through the worst day of their life always, because you literally never know. And sometimes people don't know how to say it out loud, that they're having a hard time going through something. Yeah. So I'm like, why don't I just treat somebody as if they just lost their grandma? Or that their animal just died, or they just lost their job or something like that. Because we really never know. And there's a benefit that comes from someone just being genuinely nice.
Yeah. I was on a walk with one of my friends the other day, and she said, Jodi, wake up every day and do the right thing. Wake up every day and do the right thing. And a lot of times just waking up and doing the right thing is just showing up and loving people and respecting them. I think that's a very common human trait that we all should have. But it is one of those things where you realize, like, I need to just wake up, do the right thing, and then everything else will fall into place.
Yeah.
So.
How do you prompt yourself to do the right thing every day?
Intentionally showing up as if each interaction that you have with each person is the last interaction. And my thought is always, if this is the last interaction that I have with you and we never meet again, what would you say about me?
Right.
If it was the last time you had a conversation with me and then I, God forbid something happens to me and I died and that was it, what would you say at my funeral? Yeah. And that is one thing that sticks with me whenever I come in contact with people, someone new, is what would you say about me at my funeral? Yeah. Like, people give speeches all the time, or they make posts on Instagram.
That's crazy you say that, because me and my sister, we talk about that all the time. We were working with ChatGPT last month, and I was like, man, me and ChatGPT have built this relationship. I wonder what it would say about me. So I was like, write my obituary. And then it wrote it, and it was just interesting to see. So to have that idea, even with people, everyday people, was like, what would you say about me if this was your last time experiencing me? Which is one of my pillars too. I ask people, how do you want to be remembered? Yeah. Just through basic interactions, just through a hello or a goodbye. If you just want to be that person to say hello, goodbye, and that's it, then by all means be that. But if you want to be that person that actually sees people and goes deeper and makes somebody feel important, then you can also do that. And it's like, how are you doing that? So back to your point of intention and intentionally showing up as who you are is very, very important. What do you think has been the biggest culprit of making you who you are today?
Definitely a lot of the trials. I think from my parents' divorce to experience I even had in college of me shifting career paths, going through really bad breakup, and having an experience where God literally took my life, shook it up, and then has brought me to the space that I'm in now. I think those are some of the major things that have happened. Growing up, I think I had a great, pretty good childhood. My parents had their divorce, and that was really tough. And then my dad went to jail when I was younger as well. And so those things, you just don't love them, but it was a part of your story. And so I think for me, it's those the moments where you realize I know how to treat people and how to respect people, because our parents are very intentional about that. But I also know that I've gone through moments where I wasn't the greatest significant other. And you see later on, I ended up going through a really bad divorce, a bad breakup. And in moments like that, that makes you, for me, my first thing is always, Jodi, what could you have done better? And
is it really?
Yeah, that's anytime I have a situation with whether I don't get into conflicts with people often, but when there's time where there's a little, if there's any uneasiness, I always ask myself, Jodi, what could you have done better? What could you have said better? How could you have shown them Christ's love a little bit more? Or what would that have looked like? And in those moments,
that's big.
I'm
sure that takes a lot of self-awareness. Most of the time what people do is try to look at what the other person has done wrong before, accepting the blame and say, what is it that I've done wrong?
Yeah.
Where could I have made this relationship, this whatever, better? Where did I mess up at? That takes a whole lot of self-awareness.
Years and
years of.
Yeah, but I think I get a lot of that from my mom too. My mom's so cool. She's probably one of the most loving and forgiving individuals I know. And the way she loves people is very interesting, because people could do her so wrong, and she's like, God will take care of it. And as kids, we were like, woman, did you not just see what they did to you? Right. And she's like, it's okay, God is gonna take care of it. I'm like, I can take care of it for you. So just to see her the way she loves people, and now as an adult, I understand why she interacts.
That's emotional growth and maturity, because the Bible does say vengeance is the Lord's. And a lot of times, us as humans, someone does us wrong, our immediate reaction is, wow, I need to get them back, or I need to seek vengeance, without realizing that most of the time when you seek vengeance, what comes back to you after getting the vengeance is not even worth it. A lot of people feel bad after they do whatever they do. Yeah. to get the revenge. And it's like, just let God handle it.
Yeah, I have a like 24, 48 hour rule for myself where if I have an issue with someone or something came up or something bothered me, like say you shoved my shoulder and I'm like, oh my God, like I didn't love that you did that. Or you say, hey, Jodi, like you stink. I'm like, okay, well, I didn't like that. But I like normally don't like react immediately. I'll take a day or two to like process it. And if like I wake up the next morning and it's still on my heart, I may say something, or the next day later, or the next day I may say something. But that prevents a lot of, one, arguments, and two, it takes the emotions out of it. Like, was I just in my feelings because maybe what was going on during that day? Maybe I had a really bad day and then you made that comment and now it's like sent me over? Or is it the fact that like, no, like that really hurt. Like that sent me to a place that like I didn't appreciate it. Maybe you don't know the background of that. Because then at that point, I'm now giving you the opportunity to understand where I'm coming from. I've had the chance to cool down. I've had the chance to process it. And now I'm coming to you as a whole person who's in my right mind, sharing my thoughts with you versus just coming at you. I'm out of anger.
You hold emotional maturity high in your life, don't you?
Yes.
I can tell.
Yes.
Just from the way that you put the words together to describe your emotions and how you feel and how you handle it. That's important. I think that a lot of people would benefit just from, one, the 24-48 rule that you created. People benefit from that because we react out of anger very quickly. And most of the time when you're angry and you react, it's not good. It's not good at all.
And it's not that I like try to not have to say I'm sorry. And not that I'm not okay with saying I'm sorry. I will say I'm sorry. If I'm wrong, like I'm the first to say, hey, like I was wrong, I messed up, I could have done that better, forgive me. But in those moments, when you take a step back and you actually look at it, it's like, I don't have to continuously be like, I'm sorry, I'm sorry, I'm sorry, I'm sorry, I'm sorry. It's like, no, just think before you speak. And so I try to not have to say I'm sorry as much, but instead do the thing and the inner work before I...
So that goes back to your idea of being intentional. Not just in what you do, but also what you say. A lot of times we do say things just because we feel like saying it in the moment. Instead of just taking that short breath in between, saying, should I really say this or not? Like, what are going to be the effects of me saying what I'm about to say to this person? Which I've had to learn too, because I used to react out of emotion real quick, and I have a very smart mouth. So I would say things that I know is going to hurt somebody's feelings because I want to hurt their feelings. But as I've grown and as I've matured, I've learned, this is not going to be beneficial for you to say. Not for you nor the other person. So how about you just let this be? And I've learned that makes me feel better than actually, getting vengeance on the person. Yeah, that's necessary. So tell me about your journey from project management into being the fitness instructor that you're now.
Yeah, so I actually went full-time fitness in October
Really?
last year, so 2024, which is crazy. I think it's 2025 now. But I was working, I previously was in the marketing and like project management space, worked for a roofing company. And in July, I got to a point where I was like, I can't do this anymore. I can't do this, I can't.
You just feel called to something else?
I'd been teaching classes at the same time, so I was teaching 17 to like 25 classes a week, depending on the week, with like subbing classes and my own classes. And I got to a point where I was like, not even that like where I'm at in the sense of this role, like it was so good for me. And I think that being in that project management space was beneficial for what I do now, because my life is really project management now and project management of events and all the things. But when it comes to like that space, it was just, you just know when it's your time. And it was the first decision Jodi has ever made where she said, I am leaving this space because it no longer serves me. And I've overstayed my visit in relationships before, I've overstayed my visit in friendships before, I've overstayed my visit in career, in jobs before, and that was the first decision that I ever made, that I said, I am going to make this jump. And I just felt really good about it. Not that it wasn't scary, but I remember my mom coming to my house that weekend and she was like, I don't know why she was there, but she was there with my sister and I think we were just like spending the week together. And I came back from a meeting and I was like, so stressed. Like I didn't say anything, but she just knew.
The energy was
and she was like, I was like, I can't do this anymore. I was like, I can physically show up and be there. but it is now my time to go.
Right.
And I was like, I talked to my managers at X, Y, and Z companies, and I know what I can do, what I can accomplish in this fitness space, and I feel good about it. And so I made the decision, made the jump, and it was probably one of the best decisions I've made in my life.
So 28, were you 28 or 29 at this point?
I was 29.
29.
Yeah.
So it took you 29 years to make a decision for yourself.
That is actually so crazy to even hear. Yeah.
What was it that?
Like make a big decision like that.
To make that, yeah. I know it. Yeah, I know the feeling of like, man, I have to do this for me.
Yeah.
Because with just the way that you were putting that, do you think that you were living your life for you before that, or are you living it for everybody else around you?
I think that yes, to answer your question, I think I was living it for other people. I think we grew up and we learned that, you have to have a job where you do X, Y, and Z. You have to have a job where you work it's a 9 to 5 or 8 to 5, or you have to be working something, right. Corporate something, whether it's in the medical field or you're a lawyer, whatever it is. And that was the first decision that I said, I'm going to do something that's very unorthodox. And I don't really ever care about the opinions of other people. And that's been something that I've had to work on for years. My mom always tells me, like, how people feel about you has nothing to do with you. And once I actually got it, and it like stuck.
It's nothing to do with you, yeah. It's like, okay, I'm starting living for me now.
It really had nothing to do with me.
I think I'm just now understanding that.
Yeah.
Like, man, forget what these people are talking about, literally.
Yeah, and it wasn't that I don't care about people, that's not, but it's like, God gave me the vision.
Yeah.
So if he gave you a vision, I have something to say about it. You have all right to be like, Jodi, respectfully, bye.
No, yeah.
Because God didn't give me your vision.
Yeah.
God gave me my vision. He gave you your vision.
I thought about that too. I'm like, why are we expecting other people to understand something that was not given to them? It's not theirs to understand. So you can't even ask for their opinion. Yeah. Or even what I've been dealing with recently is, how are we trying to level set with people who are not on the same level as you? Yeah. So they don't understand, because they're not even in position to make these decisions. They don't have the same gifts or the same tools, but we're asking them for their permission to enter these spaces that we have access to. Yeah. They don't even have access to these spaces. So why are you even going to them to ask for the permission to get into these spaces? I'm like, nah, this got to stop. I have permission to enter where I have access to, and I need nobody's permission to do it. Yeah. And that's a huge thing to come to terms with. When you finally realize that your life is in your control, and you get to do what it is that you want to do, contrary to what anybody else thinks or feels, you become a free individual.
Oh my God, you're free. Like, I remember in college going skydiving, and that was one of the most freeing feelings of my life. And it was probably one of the best feelings, because you're connected to another person, but outside of that, like,
you're just literally free fall.
If Papa goes down, we're going down. Yeah. Well, we're both going down, actually. Like, you know what I mean? So, but that feeling of that freeing feeling was probably the closest thing to that, where you feel like you can just go and you can do. And once you like lose that feeling of like, what will Dick, Tom, and Harry have to say about me? You can do whatever you set your mind to. And when we were younger, my mom used to tell us every morning when we would be on our way to school, we'd call her, or she was bringing us to school. She'd tell us, she's like, Jodes, have a good day. The sky's the limit. The sky's the limit. I'm like, if this lady tells me the sky's the limit one more time, like, okay, I never got it.
And then one day, it clicked. That happens to me all the time. Now at 27, something happened. I'm like, man, my dad was right.
Yeah.
And the 16-year-old Tyrus was like, I'm not listening to nothing he's talking about. But 27-year-old Tyrus was like, man, that man was actually right. Actually right. We could talk about that for a long, long time. But the point of this show is for you to take me to the lowest moment that you've ever experienced. And let's talk about how you overcame it.
Lowest point?
The lowest of the lowest.
Okay.
Is that camera still recording? Let me ask the question again.
Yeah, you can. I'm good. I know what I know.
She said, I know. Yeah. All right, take me to the lowest moment that you've ever experienced, and let's talk about how you overcame it.
Lowest. Okay. I guess the beginning part of the story. So I was in a 7-year relationship with my ex, and we met in college, then ended up moving into, end up dating after college, in my last year of college, and he already graduated. And we moved in together, all the things, really just building a foundation. He taught me so much about Jodi, about life, about finances, about people, about how to love someone, how to respect someone, how to understand just different backgrounds. And the way that we worked together was so cool. Just our stories, and just watching him grow as a human. And I think in a relationship like that, when you're with someone for so long, you learn so much about them. You learn so much about what they can accomplish, and it's really cool to watch their journeys, their journey along the way. And so really just built a really cool part of our life together. And then in 2020, mid-COVID, we got engaged, and it's May 21st, and had an incredible engagement party. Our family was there, all the things, and then we had a couple conversations, and it was okay, moving through, deciding to start planning a wedding and what that would look like. And as we had conversations, there was things along the way that I didn't love that he had said, and kind of held it as that 24-hour, 48-hour rule, and didn't end up saying anything. And then I shared him hey, I didn't love that you said that, or how that went. And so that was, I think in a lot of that, I started to drift, and didn't communicate a lot of things that I was feeling. And I think he was also feeling a lot of ways of me just not being as present, because in my mind I was do you want to marry me? What does that look like? And we've had conversations since, and we're in a much better place now. But during that time, it was not a good feeling, and we ended up deciding to break things off in December of that year. Really hard decision, and it was one of those things where Jodi, as the human, I wasn't the best significant other to him. I wasn't as present. I wasn't as I just wasn't there as much as I should be. And I look back at it now, and it's you can apologize so much, and even now it's I have my moments where I'm I could have been better, and I've forgiven myself, and he's forgiven me. But in all of that, it was tough, because you don't realize it when you're in it. You don't realize that I could have been a better significant other. I could have been more present. I could have been a little, maybe more understanding of certain situations. And a lot of ways, for him, he was I felt neglected, because you were working so much, you were doing all the things with your friends. And I'm now you see it and you look back at it. And in the process of all of that, we ended up breaking off the engagement. We tried to make it work for a year, and it just didn't. And we went to therapy. I was going back and forth to New York. I took a few trips back and forth to New York just to try and make it work. And he made a decision at one point that, his career was the thing that he wanted to focus on and needed to focus on, because he'd already been working so much. He was in the finance space. And that was something that I've watched him do. And so he moved on and is in an incredible role right now and doing what he loves. But in the process of all of that, there was so much that I had to figure out. And I'll never badmouth him. I'll never speak negatively about him or any man. But it was something that we just had to work through. And we thought that it could work. And you have your family that's involved, and our families are really close. But in the process of that, it just really sucks, because we had a final conversation in October, and that October, now this is maybe almost 4 years ago now, we had a conversation that October, and we just decided, he was I'm not doing this, I can't do this. And I was okay. And it was, I remember when we broke off the engagement from the year before that January, February, March, April, every single month I cried. Every single day I cried for 365 days. Every single day. I don't even know how I have tears to cry now, because every single day I cried, because people would ask, how's wedding planning going? It's not. Next question. How is he doing? I I guess he's fine.
She said, call him.
It's not good. I actually hate it here. For that whole year, I remember saying, God, this is trash. This is trash. I hate it here. I absolutely hate it here. Couldn't leave my room. Couldn't get up out of my bed. Couldn't do any of the things. Because it was miserable. It was absolutely miserable. And that October, we had that conversation. I remember it so clearly. It was my dad's birthday. And then the next day, I remember having the conversation that night. I just like laid in bed, just like just like laying. I don't even know how it was comfortable. It wasn't, but like nothing was comfortable. Like no position, no nothing. And so, that Sunday, I tried to commit suicide, and there is something that happens when you say like, I hate it here. In my mind, there's nothing to live for. There's no one to live for. There's nothing to show up for. Like, I feel like I'm losing it. I feel like I've lost everything. And I don't want to be here. Respectfully. Oh my God, I have literally no more tears to cry. There's nothing that I can do. There's no way that I can't show up for people. I've been in my room for basically 2 months because I was working from home at the time. Really was like working from bed. And give me a reason. There's nothing to show up for. And in the process of all that happening, my mom called me 9 times on the bridge in Tampa or St. Pete. 9 times. And even to think back to it now, it's just so crazy to see like God's faithfulness and like his love and compassion for Jodi. Because like you have to make it personal. And he saw me fit to take me out of that situation, to say, I need you to be here. I want you to be here. Like you belong here. And there's something that's so much bigger than you, than what's happening right now. So that happened. Didn't happen. My mom calls me, and I didn't tell the story until like a year later. Like, you saved my life.
So you had that conversation with her? How did she take that?
She like was not okay. Yeah, she was not okay by any means. Like I remember the day I called her and we were like talking about something, and I like explained to her, I was like, I like been meaning to tell you something, and she was like, just got silent and she just yeah, she was silent, and she was like, I don't know like what I would have done without you. It's like, I can't imagine bearing my child. Like I can't imagine what that would be like. So she was like, God knows what he's doing. And because I could not imagine doing life without you. And it wasn't something that was like, I could even fathom right now. But I to this day, I'm like, you literally saved my life. And it's cool. It's so, like, my mom is probably one of the coolest humans I know. Just because of the way that she loves God, and the way that she loves people, and the way that she shows up for people. But there's something so sweet about a mother's love, that she can show up and say, I don't know what it is. I don't know what's going on, but I know something's going on. And for her to say like, no, I I need you to survive. And those calls were just representation of, I need you to survive. So no, she was not okay by any means, but she was okay because she was like, because
She still had you.
yeah, and she's just, I mean, just to think of now, our relationship is so different, like in the best ways. Like she's always been there for us and she would always do anything for us, but I think that time she realized, like, and even to think about it now, like when everything happened, I didn't go home for months. That happened in just like, the breakup happened in December. I didn't go home for Christmas. I didn't go home for New Year's. I didn't go home for Valentine's Day, nothing. And I remember she asked my sister, she was like, why isn't Jodi coming home? Like, it just was always something going on. And I was like, my sister was like, I don't think you realize that Jodi is not okay. Because from a distance, you know, this is my child, I've seen her go through a lot, I know that she's experienced a lot. But it was a different type of pain. It was so different because in my mind, I was supposed to spend my life with you. I was supposed to do life with you. And now this isn't happening.
So you're mourning an idea that was there of something that you hoped for, that you prayed for, that you thought you had all the right answers to, then it's gone.
Yeah.
Just like that.
Like it was very, and I mean, people are like, yeah, it's like a breakup, but it's like,
yeah.
I mean, it was,
Now, I don't think people understand how much breakups affect an individual, because you do build your life essentially with somebody, whether you get to experience that life that you built with that person in your head or you don't. You built a life with somebody. And the intimacy that is reached in a lot of relationships is not reached with many people. So it's like one-to-one. And like you see me as somebody that nobody else has access to seeing me as. And then when that stops, it's like, who sees me now?
yeah.
And I think a lot of people get to that point to where they're asking God, what's the point of any of this? Because they're missing the piece that they thought completed them. And then when it's not there, it's like, well, I'm broken now. Yeah. So what do I do now? I've been in not as deep as that, but similar situations. So where literally I pray, I was like, look, God, you can either take me or take the pain away, but either way, I don't want to feel this way. Because this is tough. And even the part of self-isolation, because you don't want to feel like a burden on other people. You don't want people asking what's wrong because you don't want to talk about it because that makes you feel worse. You don't want, you really just want to be a burden essentially. So it's like, I might as well just stay here in my room and just exist until I don't exist anymore. And a lot of people I feel are even in that position today. Yeah. I have people who DM me often telling me that they feel that way. And that's a lot to bear within itself. Because it's like, I get you. I feel like that too.
Yeah.
And for you to say, to focus on the bigger picture and let that be a driving factor to continue is huge. Because I think essentially why I'm still here today is hope. Maybe I haven't even experienced glory yet. Maybe I haven't experienced the best days of my life just yet. But I still have the hope that they're coming. And I have that hope all the way up until the end. So that means I have to continue. I have a friend who told me, he said, I told myself, I can't kill myself until I do everything on earth. Meaning, you only keep living until you're able to do the more things. Yeah. And it's like, wow, I haven't become a father yet. I haven't gotten married yet. I haven't held my child in my hands and watched them breathe their first breath of air on earth. I haven't seen the Mona Lisa or the Grand Canyon or just simple things that we think are simple but are not really simple because they add to the experience of life. So to just continue, because life is about the continuation, and I try to remind myself, though I may be in this situation today, tomorrow can be completely different. So why don't I try until tomorrow? Because maybe tomorrow will be better.
Yeah.
I appreciate you sharing your story for sure. For sure. What would you say is the driving factor now of you continuing?
When you've gotten that close to death, nothing scares you or stops you. Because you're like, well, the alternative to this would have been death. So, like, it's not funny, but I'm like,
I get you.
what is the, I mean, you know, so when I do things now, it's the mindset of when I was in the thick of it, when it was the worst moments of my life. What did Jodi need that she didn't cry out for help for? What did Jodi need someone to say to her? What did she need someone to do to her? And like I would say for Jesus and Fitness saved my life, because Jesus, God sent my mom as my, to like, you know, to be that, in that place. And the fitness was the only thing I felt successful at. So I would go to the gym, I'd go to Sweat St. Pete, I would go and I just would lift days, would just lift the heaviest weight, do the hardest reps. They said you have to, you know, ladies recommended 25 to 30. I was picking up 30. I was picking up 35. Because anything felt better than this pain. But it was also the reminder in the process that, Jodi, you can do hard things. Jodi, you can do hard things. Jodi, you can do, and like I say it.
Yeah, I remember you said that the last training.
Yeah.
Which is funny because I repeat that to people often. Because everyone likes to talk about how hard something is. I'm like, yeah, it's hard, but you can do hard things. That simple reminder pushes people to do the hard things. And I know you watch the people while you're instructing them, but I was actually out there also watching them, and you would say you can do hard things, and you could see people shift from thinking that they can't do it to thinking that they can do it. And that's just a simple reminder, even to the people who are in the low moments now. It's like, you can do the hard things. Yeah, life is hard, and you can do the hard things. And through doing the hard things, you gain the strength. And the strength is not only for you, but it's for the people around you as well. Mm-hmm.
And there's something that happens too, because the class is, you know, a workout that I do is 50 minutes or 45 minutes. That is an hour of your day. You've got 24. You know, the other 23, you do whatever with them. So in this 1 hour that you convince yourself that I can do a hard thing, that transfers to the other 23 hours or whatever hours you're not sleeping for. Yeah. It transfers to those hours. And so it reminds you that, okay, I can do hard things, because this is preparation. I tell people all the time, like, this is preparation. Right now, what you're feeling is preparation for when you get into the thick of it and you have your worst day and you don't want to get out of the bed and you don't feel like you can move, or you don't feel like you can have that conversation, or you don't feel like you can show up for this person in this way. You go back to that moment where you said, I can do hard things. And so for me, it was every day, 5 a.m., getting up, lifting this weight. Jodi, you can do hard things. You can do hard things. That's all I could say.
Yeah.
Was I actually don't want to do this. I don't want to be here. I don't want to show up. I don't want to lift this weight. It's way too early, but I can't sleep, and I feel sick to my stomach all the time. And I, again, don't want to be here. So the only thing I can tell myself is, Jodi, you can do hard things, and maybe, just maybe, it'll work. Maybe me convincing myself of this thing every single day that I show up here will do something for me. And
what do you think Jodi on the bridge would say to the Jodi now? If y'all are having a conversation, looking at each other, and she sees you being a world traveling trainer, encouraging people that they can do hard things, encouraging people that they're stronger than they think they are, encouraging people that though they may be in certain situations right now, that they have the strength to even get even farther. What does that conversation look like?
I would tell her that it's gonna get better. Yeah, I would tell her that. I promise you, like, if you stick it through, this will get better.
Because you can do hard things, right?
Honestly, yes, but like also, like, I would tell her that she's a really big deal. and that what's happening and that what's around the corner is a really big deal. And although this feels like it needs to be the end, it's actually just the beginning. Like, I would tell her that this is just the reset button, and that if she stays in it long enough, she's gonna realize there is something that she can't even think, ask, imagine, or even pray that's gonna be on the other side. And I would tell her that she's not this feeling and this emotion. This is only just God saying, I have to prune you. And I have to take you to the lowest before I take you to some of your greatest moments. I think I would hold her and I would just love on her. I think I would try to protect her from all the things. I would love on her in all the ways that I could. I would tell her that there's people who need her. Need her strength and need her love and need God's light. Not her, but God's light to shine through her. I would tell her, don't give up prematurely. Yeah. She doesn't realize how crazy God is about her. I can't even fathom. I can because I was there, but yeah.
Don't give up prematurely. Thank you, Jodi. You are a big deal.
Thank you.
Your energy is infectious and it's pure, and you make people's day better. And by making people's days better, it makes people's lives better. Because our lives are just full of many days. And people need good days to have a good life. And you give people the reminder that they can do hard things. And you give people the reminder that they're strong. And that though this journey may feel tough and that it may feel hard, they have the strength to continue. And the beauty that we may not even think is possible may be on the other side of the mountain that we're climbing now. But we have to continue. And you push people to continue. You push people to believe that maybe there is better. And I use that maybe very distinctively there because it's all built on hope, right?
Yeah. And I tell people in my classes all the time, I'm like, maybe, just maybe, if you tried,
Just maybe.
Yeah, just what happens? What happens? And you have two choices when you take a class or, when you do something hard, but I always use a class as an example because you're there for an isolated amount of time. I give them options to modify, I give them options to amplify. Mm-hmm. Maybe, just maybe, you try the amplified thing.
Because you can be
maybe you surprise. I was just gonna say, maybe you surprise yourself. Maybe you shock yourself. Maybe you prove yourself wrong. And we sometimes try to prove other people wrong, but it's no, you got to prove yourself wrong. I need to prove to Jodi first that you can get out of this very rough situation. And the situation is me, my mental, me getting through this situation.
Yeah. It said in Proverbs, as a man thinketh, so is he. Mm-hmm. So as you think, you are. Yeah. And you are capable of so much more. Mm-hmm. So much more. I appreciate you. Thank you for being here. Thank you guys for tuning in to another episode of the Journey Up Podcast. I'm your host, Tyrus Duncan. Hope to see you next time. Peace.